So, if you just glance at the Premier League table, things at Liverpool look, well, pretty stable. Top 4 on a 9-game unbeaten streak. But we all know football isn't played on paper, right? The second you scratch beneath that surface, you find a completely different story. A story of a deep and honestly a corrosive crisis of confidence. Today, we're going to dig into that frustration and explore this bizarre paradox. How can a team that just isn't losing feel so completely and utterly lost? We're seeing it all through the eyes of the fan base itself.
And wow, it really doesn't get more direct or more raw than this. A quote like this from a supporter, it isn't about tactics or a bad pass, it's a gut punch. It speaks to this feeling that the very joy, the whole point of being a fan is just being sucked away. This has gone way beyond results, it's got the feeling the club gives you. And right now, for a lot of Liverpool fans, that feeling is just exhaustion. So how in the world did we get here? How does following your team start to feel less like a passion and more like a job? Look, this isn't some knee-jerk reaction to a couple of losses. This is a slow burn. It's this nagging feeling that something is fundamentally off at the core of the team, a feeling that's been building for months, even while, weirdly enough, they've managed not to lose.
And this right here, this just perfectly captures the whole problem. A 9-game unbeaten run, that should be a source of pride, of momentum. Instead, it's being called the most unconvincing unbeaten run ever. And why? Because fans are watching a team that looks, in their own words, absolutely lost. They look disjointed, they're scraping draws, they're scamming wins. But the performances? They have no identity, no conviction. Every point they get seems to bring more anxiety than it does optimism.
Naturally, when fans are trying to figure out where this disconnect is coming from, this huge gap between the results and what they're seeing with their own eyes, the focus lands on one person, the manager, Arne Slot. It's not just the mess on the pitch, his press conferences, his public statements. They've become this huge source of frustration for a fan base that is just desperate for some clarity and a clear direction.
I mean, on the face of it, this is exactly what you want to hear from your manager, right? Arne Slot is insisting his whole philosophy is about attacking, attractive football. He wants the team to be fun to watch. But that public promise is just clashing so violently with the dull, chaotic football that people are actually seeing every single week. What he says and what they do have become two totally different things.
And that disconnect is laid bare in his own words. I mean, check this out. In the very same press conference, Slot said two things that completely contradict each other. First, he admits we are struggling to create a lot of chances. Okay, fair enough. Then, a moment later, he claims, I don't think we are creating less than any other teams who are doing well. So if you're a fan listening to that, you're just thinking, what? Are we struggling or are we not? It's just infuriating. It feels like there's no coherent plan. And what's really telling is that when he gets pushed on the team's boring performances, his go-to example of when they played well was a game against PSG from 9 months ago. Now, for him, maybe that's a benchmark of what the team can do. But for the fans, hearing that is a massive red flag. It sounds like he's admitting that, by his own standards, the team's been playing poorly for almost a year. He's accidentally highlighting the exact problem everyone's worried about.
And here it is, the raw, unfiltered anger of the fan base. See, Arne Slot has gone on record saying he prefers to work with a smaller, tight-knit squad. Well, be careful what you wish for. The team is now being absolutely hammered by injuries, and that philosophy is coming back to bite him. This fan's comment just captures it perfectly. You wanted a small squad, you got one, and now it's stretched to the breaking point. The anger there is just undeniable. But is it fair to lay all the blame on the manager? When a manager is under this much pressure, sending these mixed messages, that uncertainty doesn't just stay in the press room. It bleeds onto the training pitch, it gets into the dressing room. And that raises an even more worrying question. Are the problems now bigger than just one man? Are we starting to see fractures appear within the squad itself? This is the big one, isn't it? The question that's bubbling just under the surface of every conversation about the club. For a team that has historically been built on this all-for-one spirit, the fact that this question is even being asked is alarming. But you've got these cryptic comments from players, you've got frustrated body language on the pitch. It's leading a lot of people to wonder if there's a real lack of belief in the dressing room. And then a key player like Dominik Szoboszlai comes out and says something like this. Read it again. There are a couple of things they're thinking, but everybody is going to keep from himself. I'm sorry, but that is not the language you hear from a united group. It hints at unspoken frustrations, at internal doubts, at a culture where people are afraid to speak their minds. It suggests a lack of trust, not just in the manager, but maybe in each other too.
And once you start looking for other signs, well, they start to add up. First, you have this ongoing mystery around star forward Hugo Ekitike and his fitness. Then there are the constant transfer rumors about key defender Mark Guihi leaving, a huge distraction. There's also this fan theory getting steam that you have a clash of egos up front, with everyone trying to be the guy. On top of that, a defensive cornerstone, Ibrahima Konate, could leave for free because his contract isn't sorted out. And finally, what fans are calling the shocking mismanagement of Harvey Elliott. Any one of these is a problem, but put them all together, it paints a picture of a squad that is seriously unsettled.
And all of this internal chaos, this crisis of confidence, it's all coming to a head as Liverpool get ready to face their next opponent, an Arsenal team that is the polar opposite of them right now. A team that's confident, they're cohesive, and they're sitting right at the top of the Premier League for a reason. It's just night and day, isn't it? The difference between these two teams heading into this match is enormous. On one side, you have Liverpool, who their own fans say look all over the place, just stumbling through games. And on the other, you have Arsenal, a team playing with genuine swagger, just full of belief. It's a contrast that has the Liverpool fan base absolutely dreading this game. And if you want to put a number on that chasm in form and morale, look no further than this: 14. That's the points gap that has already opened up between these two clubs. That isn't just a number on a table. It represents two teams on completely different paths. It's a measure of the confidence flowing through one club and just draining away from the other. So this game against Arsenal, it's become so much more than just another match. For Liverpool, it really feels like a moment of truth. It's a test of character, of pride. It could be the turning point that shocks the season back to life, or it could be the breaking point that sends them spiraling even further. This quote right here, this tells you everything you need to know about where fan expectations are at right now. The hope isn't for a win. It's not even for a draw. The desperate baseline hope is simply for professional pride. A hope that the players don't just roll over and make this easy for Arsenal. When that is the best you can hope for, you know the confidence of a fan base has truly hit rock bottom. And that leaves us with the final huge question hanging over this entire club. Is this just a bad patch, a temporary slump that a club of Liverpool's quality will eventually shake off? Or are these cracks we're seeing in the manager's message, in the squad's unity, in the fans' belief, are they the first signs of something much more serious, a real long-term decline? We might just get a much clearer answer after 90 minutes against the league leader.